Welcome once again to my channel, and we have been on an interesting journey of exploring the reasons, the blessings for living a sexually pure life, and it has been such an exciting journey, I must say. And today I want to talk about something else, that one of the blessings, another blessing of sexual purity. Another reason why you should commit to a life of sexual purity, and that is because sexual purity enhances your spiritual defenses. You see, in the realm of the spirit, sexual immorality is to your spirit what HIV is to your body. Sexual immorality breaks down your spirit's defense system like nothing else does. It breaks down your spiritual immunity and exposes you to certain attacks that would not have been possible if you were not living an immoral life. And this is so prevalent. You see people who became immoral and one day slept with somebody, who had certain spiritual covenants or spiritual powers working with them. You see, anybody that you sleep with, their demons are permitted to have full influence over your life and your affairs. I'm telling you the truth. Sexual intercourse permits spirits, demonic powers to infiltrate your life. It gives them legal access. It breaks down your spiritual defenses. People may pride themselves in the fact that they are engaging in sex with the use of condoms. A condom can protect you from a sexually transmitted disease, but it cannot protect you from a sexually transmitted demon. So, and STDs don't just mean sexually transmitted diseases. It also means sexually transmitted demons. And there are people, you find certain people who became kleptomaniacs. They never used to steal before. They started engaging in immorality before an overwhelming desire to steal came upon them. They began to steal. People who began to have anger problems, who didn't have that. People who had all kinds of issues began to find expression in their life that never was so as they began to live an immoral life. What happened was that your spiritual defenses became broken down, and spirits began to, easily influence you who would not have been able to influence you before. Sexual immorality breaks down your spiritual defense system. I was, a young lady was sharing her story with me. She was into reading erotic books. You see, reading erotic books is an advanced dimension of pornography. You see, watching porn and reading porn, if reading porn can be more powerful, because when you read a pornographic book or, a pornographic material, what happens is that your mind creates the images. So it becomes more powerful than the images you just watch somebody else act. Your mind now creates it. So you get involved in a creative process when you read pornographic material. So she was reading porn, erotic books and stuff like that. And a lot of ladies particularly do those kind of things. And it's so damaging that people think it's safe. So one day, as she was reading one book, it said a spirit of lust rose and bound her. She was a virgin at that time. And she said, as that happened, she began to cry. Why was she crying? She said she just knew the spirit began to control her to go and have sex at that same moment. She was crying because she didn't want to lose her virginity, but she seemed to have no choice. She was under a power, and she was crying, and she was about to leave the house to look for the next available guy that can sleep with her. Crying because she didn't want to do what she wanted to do. God saved her. Her elder sister's friend, just came in at that same moment to visit. And immediately the lady saw her. She said, "Hey, I know what is wrong with you." You know why? The lady herself had that same issue. And that lady had been talking to her about not reading those books. And she never listened. She felt it's safe. Now nothing is going on here. Until she found one particular book that was particularly packaged by Satan with a spiritual backing. You see, when you expose yourself to immorality, you expose yourself to demons. I've dealt with people who, because of their consistent exposure to pornography, began to deal with spiritual problems, began to have spiritual problems in their dreams and in their life. A young lady was telling me she'll be walking and she will know that there's a cloud over her, pushing her into depression as a result of her engagement with pornography. These things break down your defense system. It breaks down your spiritual defense system. And the Bible says that, a city which its walls are broken down is to be pitied, because anybody can attack you. What you should be protected against can, gain access into your life. See, sex is not fun. It's not. This is a spiritual thing. Sex is a spiritual thing. And when you engage in immorality, you just expose yourself to a territory of attacks that you're not ready for. A man shared his story that was so pathetic. he said that he got involved. He was a pastor, and then he began to live an immoral life. And one day he slept with a particular lady. He said immediately he finished sleeping with her, 3 spirits appeared to her and said, "Welcome, you have become our slave." He said for the next 15 years of his life, those spirits drove him to do things that he cannot talk about because they are too unthinkable. He lived such an immoral life that he seemed not to have control over because that virus had been injected into his system. Not everybody you see on the street is normal. Certain people have been packaged by Satan with certain spiritual backing, and all they are looking for is for you to have sexual access into their life. One lady, was contracted by somebody that every guy you sleep with, you harvest, his sperm through the condom, and you bring it to the man, and the man pays for it, and he uses it to do a ritual. And the ritual is that as the people are laboring, his own business will be growing. You labor and you don't get anything because your labors are being channeled in the spirit to power another man's enterprise. And how was he able to do that spiritual transaction? Through sex. He paid this lady, so he pays her, and he stored, and then she brings the sperm to him. And then he transfers their labors. See, sexual immorality is a spiritual thing. I mean, sexual sex is a spiritual thing. And when you engage in immorality thinking it's fun, it's not fun. Satan will just plot you up and break down your defenses and afflict your life and bring so many complications into your life that you may not even be connected. You may not even know where they're coming from. Please live a pure life. You stand too much to gain. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be spiritually vulnerable. I don't want Satan to just have easy access into my life. I want to live a life of spiritual dominion. And I pray that you want to live that same kind of life too. And if you do and you're having sexual challenges in your life, please reach out and you can find help. God bless you.